So, news. I got leg surgery. Um, and I had to go for a bit because I was in a lot of pain and I just haven't been in the mood to be doing anything yet. So I'm sorry for that, but we're back. And I'm thinking, what's a better way to come back than to talk about how I went camping. I went camping with my dad, I don't know when, but it was me, him, his girlfriend, Jen. It was also his brother, well, my uncle, Brian, and his girlfriend, which was built like a freaking AirPod Pro. Like, she literally looked like Candace, aka an AirPod Pro. So we were camping on my aunt's land, so it's like she has two properties. One is like a nice little place out by the lake, and that's where we were gonna be staying. It's like right next to her house, so every time I had to go to the bathroom, we would just drive over to her house, and knock on the door, or just open it up, and it was like, hey, I have to go number 2. Runs up the stairs. So stupid. And Jesus Christ, cut that out. It took us like an hour to get there because it's far away from where I actually live. So it was like an hour, and we also had to grab a bunch of stuff too. We had to grab a whole entire boat, and I got KFC, and I was sitting in the car watching them lift up boats onto the top of the car, and I was like, yeah, you guys have fun with that. And then he was like, you're gonna help? And I was like, good one. And then we started to go to the property, and then when we got there, we were like, okay, let's unpack. We literally took down the boat and took out my shoes, a backpack or two, and then, oh yeah, also did I mention that my dad dropped the boat on his knee? It like skimmed the skin off of his knee, which probably would hurt a lot if you think about it. But he's tough, and he got through it, and he was like, I'm a man. And then yeah, he was like, where's Brian? And then he came up from the lake with a tube and his girlfriend. And I'm like, who the freak is that? Mom, Fantasy Fair, we're making a subtitle sequence. Dang. It's literally what I thought of when I saw her. She looks like a soccer mom. She has like one of those tennis hats on that you see at like one of those golf places that looks really fancy. She's like, I drink for my muge. It's an inside joke. But she's like built like a AirPod. It just looks like a circle and then a straight line down, and I'm like, are you okay? Do they feed you? Like, what the freak happened to you? And then I'm like still questioning it, and I'm like, huh? What kind of freaking, what kind of diet are you on to be looking like a AirPod? Jeez, like, And then my aunt came to the property and was like hanging out, and I was like, it is too damn hot. So then I stayed in the trunk of her car playing Nintendo Switch for like 2 hours straight until my dad actually got the nerve to put up the tent at like 6 p.m. So then when we put it up, I went straight inside and I laid down and I played Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and I kicked some butt. And I also played some tourney. And then they went to go get some pizza. We were gonna have a barbecue at the house, but then we were like, nah, pizza. Good choice, because their pizza was fantastic. It was so good. But I wish I had the name of that place, but because it was so good. It was like the best pizza ever. Ever. It was the best pizza that I have ever tasted in my whole entire life. So when they got back, they had like 6 boxes of pizza, and I'm over here like, what the freak? We having a whole freaking frat house party? Why do we need so much pizza? Jesus Christ. And it's all stacked on my chair, and I'm like, do I look like a backpack? I mean, I got enough in my stomach already. I'm not trying to eat more. Like, that's 6 boxes of pizza, but like, get that out of here, bro. And then, I have like 5 pieces of pizza, and I'm like, damn, boy, that's good pizza. And then we have some s'mores, and then I get like light sticks, and I'm like moving my arm super fast to it, so it looks like, it's a good reference, like one of those portals that Doctor Strange makes when he moves his hand around, like doing the Renegade or some crap. Charlie D'Amelio would probably know what's going on there. Anyway, we all went to bed. Or no, I was freaking out because I was having a panic attack, and I was like, Dad, I'm freaking out. And he's like, why? And I was like, I don't know. And then I played Angry Birds on his phone for an hour until it almost died. And I gave it back to him, and he's like, why is the Angry Birds tab open on my phone? And I was like, geez, Dad, I have no idea. The second day, I can't really remember what we did the second day. The second day, what we did a lot of stuff on the second day. Like in the morning, we went straight to my aunt's house to go to the bathroom. But before that, it's like 5 a.m. in the morning. We're all sleeping. And I wake up and I'm like, are you guys awake? And he was like, we've been awake. And I was like, okay. And then my dad lets out the hugest fart. And then he's like, and then Jen's like, what the fuck? And then he's like, do you smell that? It's a Dutch oven. And then I'm over here like, oh, I disgusting. And we're all laughing and everything. And then he's like, I'm gonna try to be funny and push you off the bed. So then he pushes her off the bed. And then he falls over onto my bed, breaks my spinal cord. And you could see it in the x-ray, like in those fatality moves that you see in Mortal Kombat 10. It's like Goro versus... I'm telling you, my dad is like huge. He's like 6 feet tall. And we go over to their house. We saw a turtle there, and I was like, I'm gonna name it Leroy. So Leroy the Turtle. Have that in the back of your head. There's gonna be nothing about it later in the story. But that same day, they were talking about going into Otisville to see this really nice restaurant that has really good breakfast. And they were like, nah, sorry fam, we're closed. You're gonna have to go to McDonald's. But before that, I was like, hey, that's where my someone lives. And then they were like, who? And I was like, my girlfriend. And they were like, oh, don't care. And then they were like, we could go see her. And I was like, maybe. I haven't seen her in like a month. I saw her like last week. And she gets grounded a lot, so I don't get to see her a lot. So I wasn't lying, but I wasn't also true at the same time. I just really wanted to see her. So then we got McDonald's, and I was like, Dad, what? I was like, Dad, this is the complete opposite way. We're going beep instead of going to beep. And I'm like, you gotta turn around, you clown. So then we get back home. We get back to the tent, and I'm like, thinking of a plan. And I'm over here feeling like freaking Mission Impossible music playing in the background, and I'm like, got it. Just say I have to take another shit after eating 3 stacks of pancakes. So then my dad's like, okay, let's go. And then we go out there, and I take a crap, and then I'm like, okay, let's go. And then we go back to the campsite, and I'm like, but I really thought that would work. And then I'm in bed, and I'm like crying, and I'm like, Dad, I really want to go to my girlfriend's house. Why can't we just go to my girlfriend's house? And then he's like, we'll go to your girlfriend's house later. And then Jen's like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I want to go to my girlfriend's house, you know. I'm like, I want to go to my girlfriend's house. And then she's like, okay, well, I have a lot of stuff to do, so I'll probably be gone all day. So if you're hungry, don't be yelling at me when I get back. What we do first? We went to Kroger. Then we went to my girlfriend's house. I said hi. We literally did nothing for like 10 minutes after that. I got chased around by a goat around a cage like 6 times. And then we hopped back in the car, and I was like, what a freaking moron I am. And then we go to another store, and we get back, and my dad's like, where have you been all day? I'm starving, motherfucker. And then she's like, I told you. I literally told you that you would whine. And we got like, what did we get? We got charcoal for the grill, so we had hot dogs, and I was like, hot dog, da 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 da. I ate the 2 hot dogs that I had, and a whole bag of goldfish, because why the frick not? I love goldfish, and I want to eat now. But then after that, we were like talking about how there's like this island in the lake, and we were also talking about how Brian's gonna be packing up and leaving today, and they're picking up like an hour after that conversation, and they're like, hey, there's something white and sticky outside the tent. Well, and Brian's like, well, if it's outside the tent, then we know what it isn't. And then she's like, and I'm like, you fucking disgusting slut, what the fuck? And then I'm like, dear God, you guys are disgusting. Thank God I never went into that tent, because they were like, hey, if you want, we have a hammock up so you can chill on a hammock, or you can go inside the tent. And I was like, hammock? Hell no, I am never touching that tent ever again. Um, and I never did, and I'll never regret it. Um, but Brian he's like one of the many definitions of a douche. Like, he can be a jerk sometimes, and he probably doesn't even know it. And they all drink and smoke and stuff. So I'm like, so Dad, what are we gonna do out on the island? He's like, oh, nothing. We're just gonna swim around, chill. We get there. This guy there. He's like, hey, Tyler's dad. You want some, you know that good, you know that weed. And then I'm over here like, yeah, we're just gonna be chilling, swimming, right? Yeah, yep, just swimming. You gonna throw the weed in the water? Cause I'll do it for you, you freaking swine bag liar. And then I'm like, Dad, can we go back to the campsite? And he's like, yeah, no, I'm trying to get my hands on some more weed. And I'm like, I swear to God, I'm gonna backhand this guy. And then we're there for like another hour, and I'm sitting there on this tube. Or no, I was swimming around. I kept on getting back in and out of the water. They're super drunk when I get out, and I fall and they slip. And I'm not freaking out or anything, but they're like, go back in the water. It's nothing to freak out about. And I'm like, what? Who said I was freaking out? Y'all need to slow down on that freaking, on the freaking Jaeger and the weed and stuff. Like, y'all need to chill out on that bull crap. And then they're like, just go back in the water, it's fine, you can come straight back out. And I was like, yeah, but I'm probably gonna fall again because my ass is slippery as fuck. And then I stay in the water, and Brian's out on the tube looking like he just freaking got the life sucked out of his soul. Like, he is staring blank into nothingness, and he's just like. So my dad's like, hey, you should get on the tube with Brian. And I was like, you sure he's okay? I'm pretty sure he has their freaking poltergeist. We might need to get him to an exorcist as soon as possible. Look at him. I don't trust the way that he be looking over there. I don't like the way he looking. So then I get on the tube with him, and he has like this whole cooler full of paper, like smoking paper, and you just roll it up. And I'm like, yo, can you get your freaking huge cooler off of me? And I don't even think there was even drinks in there. It was just paper. I think there was a couple of Bud Lights and everything, and maybe a hot dog or two, and I'm like, what? Next, you just gonna store a child in there? Like, who puts paper in there? You sound like the most retarded artist. And then, I see his girlfriend get in the water, and I'm like, what the freak is Candace doing? I swear to God. And then she comes over to the tube, and she's like jumping on the tube, and my whole side goes down because land ho! Minus the land! It's just a hot. And she's like trying to get his attention, but he still has the life sucked out of him, and he's like, that Vietnam hit different. And she's like making out with him, and I'm over here, and I'm like, are you done yet? You know, first of all, I got a cooler rubbing against my shoulder, and you guys are moving it back and forth, and it's starting to hit me in the face. So I would suggest you stop freaking kissing. Get off of this tube, you swine bag. And then you swim back up to the shore and you drink some more Jaeger, you freaking bum. If you're watching this, this is all jokes. Some of them. some of them are jokes. Some of you are, um, but my dad's girlfriend Jen was like, you look thirsty. Do you want anything to drink? And I'm like, no. She's like, you should probably drink something. Just drink this. And I'm like, I'm fine. I don't need to drink anything. She's like, drink it, bitch. And I'm like, okay, fine. I just pulled it in the side, and he's like, he needs something to drink. And I was like, if I need something to drink, I just go into water and take a sip. I don't even care if there's pee in it. There's probably more germs that I've had eaten or drank before than in this water. Like, if you think about it, really, people are super stupid and do the stupidest things. So you don't know what the freak you're doing when you're eating into that Big Mac. So, I'm just saying. But I do not care. If it's bugs, I'm like, yeah, yay. Throwing that crap in the trash. But other than that, we decided to go back after I was like, Dad, can we go back now? I just really want to go home and just chill. And I was like, he's like, oh, I want some more weed, but sure. And then he's like, hey guys, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna take him to the campsite, and then we're gonna come back out. And then he's like, oh, okay, we might come back. And then I'm like, y'all are just gonna ditch me at a dirt road that looks like it's straight from Texas Chainsaw Massacre when I had a panic attack last night. And then we get there, and they're like, hey, what do you want to do? And I'm like, the frick you mean, what do I want to do? I said I want to go home and chill. He's like, you want to go to Legoland? And I'm like, no, sucker, I want to chill. And then they're like, well, think of something to do. There's like an ice cream parlor down the street, so if you want to go do that. And I'm like, sucker, I just want to chill. And then they're like stressing the crap out of me. It's like, just think of something, Billy. My name isn't Billy, though. Just think of something, Tyler. And I'm like, okay. They're like, when we come back, you better think of something, you freaking swine bag, or else we're gonna throw you into the lake again. You got that, you bum? And then I'm like, yeah, okay. They come back, and they're like, you want another hot dog? But then I ate like 3 Fruit Loop Pop-Tarts. And then I went to bed with my dad, and I put a loaf of bread on his head. For some reason, I have no idea why. I have no idea why I did it. Then we woke up around like 11, and then we were all chilling, and I was like, I'm going back to bed, frickin' this, and I woke back up at like 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, I am going back to bed with another Pop-Tart. So then I eat like a fudge brownie Pop-Tart, and I'm like, back to bed I go. He's not. And then my dad's like, Tyler, wake up. And I'm like, what the frick you want? Let me sleep, yo freaking bum. Why is it so damn hot in here? He's like, you gotta go, it's super hot. I was like, yeah, obviously, I just said it is. And then we were like starting to pack up everything, and this is our last day there. And then we go to KFC again to get me something to eat. And you already know I had to get that KFC macaroni combo with the chicken tenders. So then that's what I get, I think. Or did we go to KFC? I don't think we did, actually. Oh, yeah, we did. And then after that, I got home, I chilled, I was like, you know what, after that, I'm just gonna stay home for a while. Hey, Tyler! Dear God. What? You're going camping with, Rose and, Grandma Joe in, like, 2 days, and I'm like, you're joking, right? You're joking. Commit, I hate my family.